If I can stop laughing, I will introduce our last reader, Jeff Von Ward. He's the Jeff. Yay! There he is. He's the author of Mormonia Stories. He's the managing editor of Sammons Literary Journal and co-creator of the Writing Without Walls reading series. He made an award-winning documentary about arcade game collectors called The Space Invaders: In Search of Lost Time. He is currently hosting the Bernal Yoga Literary Series. Please join me in welcoming Jeff.
Hello. So first of all, I just wanted to congratulate Anik and Kevin on their 20th reading. 20 more for sure, at least 20 more, maybe more I think, yes. And thanks again for all the readers, and thanks for all of you for coming. And I was driving over here, and I've never done this before, but this song started playing on my iPod, and it just seemed like the right song for me to play before I started reading. I don't know why. This is not going to work, but I'm going to try anyway. So this is me pretending to be Lloyd Dobler, I guess. So here we go. Can you hear that? I guess this is where Lloyd Dobler is.
The shortwave matter we can't see. Those distant suns, what are they to me? Their radiation falling over me. We can't see those distant suns, what are they to me? Their radiation falling over me.
I think that was enough. I was the product pitchman for a company who owned a merry band of slaves. They followed and aped our every tweet. Employed to make sure everyone enjoyed every minute of their servitude, I kept everyone distracted. We made nothing, or the things we made were not of lasting virtue. Don't ask me now to recall any of our widgets. I can't remember. We were people-centered, that's the thing. We were all there to make a difference, and it was awfully hard work making everyone happy. Making sure we were all of good cheer, making sure everyone knew sink or swim. Hey man, we're in this together. The rules for getting along were simple enough, easily understood, difficult to master. That's what I'd tell them. A lifetime of mastery. But you have a lifetime. You've created your own meaning here, and you really ought to be proud of that, so way to go, team. Thanks to our manufacturing concern, consider your better angels well endowed. How well endowed? The thing is, they could be even better endowed with our 2-for-1 rewards points, our complicated system of cashing in, favors, backroom deals, and back scratches. Spend them how you like, I'd say. Breast augmentation, penis enlargement. You bitches be getting what you need. I rehearsed the lines 8, 9, sometimes 15 times, and there was no magic in them. The whole time, nervous executives milled about the set, straightening ties, tightening cues, and usually, not always, something clicked. On those nights, it was magic. In the old neighborhood where you used to live, I'd say, all the houses are now boarded up, except the ones whose faces have fallen off, dissected down the middle like a giant dollhouse on hinges. At last you can see how all your neighbors once lived. The empty streets filled with all their former possessions, strewn in the mounds of garbage past the fence. You might find any manner of things of interest. Perhaps there's already a flock of garbage pickers making their way through the mounds, archivists intent on discovery. Hey, that's mine. Don't touch that. Well, I'd say, if you don't like it here, you can always go back. You can always try somewhere else. Come to think of it, there are an awful lot of lonely rocks in the vastness of space. There wouldn't be a dry eye in the house. Then I'd direct everyone to look up. Night of the equinox, I'd point to the stars we'd once called home. Not that we lived on a sun exactly. That's what stars are, you know, suns. But whenever I said this, they just look at me with their mouths hanging open. No need to let a head as pretty as yours get mired in all the niggling details. Just Help him fill the day, this one and the one after that. Whatever gets you through the night, the rest, I'd say, will surely take care of itself. Every night we projected old movies of past triumphs of the former planets we called home. And the children these slaves raised were twice as big on average as their parents had been. Bigger meaning they required more resources, meaning we had to adjust our profitability margins. But hey, they were family. We treated them like family. We had to. They could crush us if they wanted, but we gave them video games and menial jobs and strung them along or strung them out until their desires were misplaced or misspent. Desire, a dirty word anyway, a useless word in space. Unless it could be commoditized. We had big data and we could use it to predict how our colonists would harness their purchasing power. And the rewards themselves meant something. They kept the slaves wanting, and we would tell them each one was their own master. And they would laugh and say, right. And we would tell them, someday you can be, but you really gotta want it. And they would say, maybe our children's children, and then they would go back to sleep. Sing us a lullaby, they'd say. And sure, I could do that. I knew a lot of corporate rock songs. I knew all the major chords. I knew how to celebrate their toils. Futile though they may have seemed to anyone on the outside, their work was important to us, important to preserving the social order. It was critical that everyone bought in, except the few who didn't. We were told to do with them what we liked, and they usually disappeared at night. We had plenty of air to breathe, and it was mostly of a clean variety. We had our health, and consider your legacy, I'd tell them. Consider what you've all left behind. You're pioneers, people. We've traveled vast and deep, and now, goddammit, we're colonizing, motherfuckers. You're going to have a lot of amazing stories to add to the archive one day. So keep on creating those precious memories. You're each in charge of your own destiny. Destiny, of course, referred to the plastic chips they used to make purchases at the company store. It just stood to reason one day we'd all be wealthy. Until then, I was paid a commission based on the happiness index. Things were looking up. Most of the investor coverage showed one day we'd be too big to fail, too big to jail, too big to break up or call out or put down. Then it would be payback time for sure. Time to bully, time to stamp down. Until then, let's all keep dreaming. Let's all keep our noses to the mill. Thank you.